Hello and welcome you all in the class of zoology. After long time, we start the communication with the help of the online classes. So welcome you all, my dear student friends, in the class of zoology. And in the semester third, you people study about the animal diversity chordata and concept of evolution. So according to your syllabus has been divided into the 6 units. Among these 6 units, I will explain you about the first 2 important units. So here in this unit we study about the 2 important animals which are included in the unit number first, that is the Amphioxus and Pisces. Then in the unit number second, we will study about the 2 important animals in the form of the that is the amphibians. In case of the amphibians, we focus on to the Rana tigrina. Then in case of the reptiles, the type of the animals which are included in your syllabus is in the form of the Calotes versicolor. So the first question get raised in your mind that what is meant by the zoology. So you are already known about this. Zoology is the branch of science in which we deals about the structure and functions of animals, and the animals, they are broadly classified into the 2 major groups. They are nothing but the non-chordata and chordata on the basis of presence and absence of certain important characters or structure in the body of animals. For example, in case of the all non-chordates, there is not having the vertebral column. Then in case of the chordata, there is having the true notochord and vertebral column. So in this case, we first of all understand what are the important characteristic features which are observed in case of the chordate animals. So the first important distinguishing character which is observed in case of the chordata are nothing but the presence of the notochord. Notochord is the very important structure which is observed in case of the chordates animals. That is in case of the protochordates and true chordates. In case of the protochordates, there is having the 2 important groups, or they are also known as the phylum. In case of the protochordate, the first phylum is the Hemichordata. Then another one is the Urochordata, and third one is the Cephalochordata. So you people already known about the example of the hemichordates are nothing but the Balanoglossus, and the example of the Urochordata we study here in the form of the Herdmania. Then in case of the Cephalochordata, there is including the most important animal is in the form of the Amphioxus. So in this group of the animals there is a having the notochord, and these notochord they are present in the particular part of the body. That is, in case of the hemichordata, for example Balanoglophus, the notochord like structure which is present in the buccal diverticulum. Then in case of the Urochordata, notochord they are observed in case of the tail region, that is in the larval forms. Then in case of the Cephalochordata, the notochord they are observed in the head regions. Okay, so notochord is the very important distinguishing characters. Those animals they are having the notochord, they are all belonging to the chordata. Then another distinguishing character which is observed in case of the chordata are nothing but the pair gill slits. So in this group of the animal there is having the 5 to 7 pairs of the gill slits in the pharyngeal regions. Then the tails are well developed. Then in higher group of the chordata, that is the true chordata, the notochord get replaced by the vertebral column. These are the very distinguishing characters which is observed in case of the chordates animals. Now we will come to the, that is our topic, that is the origin of chordata. Origin of chordata, they are somewhat the challenging concepts. This concept reveal us that from which group of the animals the chordates are originated. Okay, so chordates evolved sometimes during the Cambrian period, that is 500 million years ago, during Cambrian explosion, almost at the same time when invertebrates were beginning to evolve. They may have evolved from some freshwater form as Campbellian, like during the 19th, pointed out that all modern chordates possesses glomerular kidneys that are designed to remove excess water from the body. However, early fossils of the chordates have all been recovered from marine sediments, and even modern protochordates are all marine forms also have the glomerular kidney, are also found in the some marine forms such as the myxinoids and the shark, that makes the marine origin of chordates more plausible. Okay, so here in these topic, the origin of chordates, we are well explained on the basis of certain anatomical features. Campbellian during 19th century pointed out that all modern chordates possesses glomerular kidneys that are designed to remove excess water from the body. So in the kidney there is having the structural and functional unit, they are known as the glomerula, and this glomerula having the ability to perform the ultrafiltrations, and after ultrafiltration reabsorb and retain the important nutrients and water in the body of the organism, and remaining unwanted material get expelled outside the body of the animals. So glomerular kidneys are also found in some marine forms such as the myxinoid and shark. That is, the fossil record there reveals us that the there is a having the glomerular kidney, for example in case of the myxinoids and the shark, that makes the marine origin of chordates more plausible. Chordates evolved from some deuterostomes ancestors, that is the echinoderms, hemichordates and pogonophorans. These are the deuterostomes. As they have similarity in embryonic development, that is type of coelom and larval stages. In this group of the animal, there is a having the similarities during the embryonic development, that is the coelom and larval stages. They show the affinities. So fossils of the earliest vertebrates are known from Silurian Devonian period. About 400 million years ago, the following theories have been given to explain the origin of chordates. There are 5 important theories where explain about the origin of chordata. They are nothing but the echinoderm origins, hemichordate origin, urochordate origin, cephalochordate origin and combined theory. Now echinoderm origin means, according to this theory, the chordates, they are originated from the echinodermata. Then another theory, that is the hemichordate origins. According to this theory, chordates, they are originated from the hemichordates. Then urochordate origin means the chordates, they get originated from the urochordata. Then cephalochordate chordate theory or origin reveals us that the chordates, they are originated from the cephalochordata. And in the last theory, there is a combined theory. These combined theory reveal us that the origin of chordates takes place by the combined forms. Now let's focus on to the first important theory of origin of chordata. These theory are nothing but the echinoderm origin theory. This theory was given by the John Muller during 1860 and is based on the comparative studies of larval stages of echinoderms and the hemichordates. So here this theory made the comparative assessment of larval forms in case of the echinoderms and the hemichordata. That is, the Torniaria larva of the hemichordates resembles to the echinoderms larva such as the Bipinnaria larva, Auricularia larva, Diplurella larva and Doliolaria, which all possesses ciliary bands and apical tuft of the cilia. John Muller, W. Gerstens and De Beers proposed that the echinoderms larvae gave rise to chordates by neoteny. Now the neoteny is the concept where there is a, that is, larval form remain present throughout the life stages in case of the animals. Also, like the chordates, echinoderms are also deuterostomes and possesses mesodermal skeletal elements. So on the basis of the similarities of larval forms, John De Beers reveal us that the chordates, they were originated from the echinodermata. The discovery of fossil echinoderms called the Chalcichordata from the Ordovician period, that is 450 further confirms echinoderm ancestry of chordates, and Chalcichordates were asymmetrical animals which demonstrate affinities with both echinoderms and the chordates, but their skeleton is made up of the calcium carbonate, whereas in vertebrates the bones are made up of the hydrated calcium, and that is the pharynx with the series of gill slits, each of the filter feeding a small segments, that is known as the anal. Pharynx for filter feeding appears to have the groups of animals during the Cambrian Ordovician period when planktons were abundant in water. Now the second theory are also known as the hemichordate origin theory. These theories were proposed by Romer during 1959. They were suggested that ancestral deuterostomes were sedentary tentacles feeders whose mucose-laden ciliate tentacles serves to trap planktons as they wave in the water, as to the modern lophophorids and pterobranch hemichordates, Cephalodiscus and Rhabdopleura. By some mutation, pharyngeal gill slits evolved in these ancestors, which made the pharynx used like to trap the plankton as the water current passed through it. Extant pterobranches possesses both ciliated arms and the pharyngeal gill slits. Tornaria larvae of the hemichordate show the phylogenetic relationship with the echinoderm larvae, and hemichordates also show the affinities with chordates. So here merely considered that the origin of chordates are from the hemichordates. Third theory are nothing but the Urochordate origin. W. Garstang during 1928 and N. J. Beryl during 1955 gave the importance to the tadpole-like larva of Urochordates, which carries typical chordate characters, namely notochord in tail along with the segmented myotomes, dorsal hollow nerve cords, sense organs and pharyngeal gill slit, which is occurred in case of the Urochordates, specifically during the larval forms. So here in this case there is a having the pharyngeal gill slit, there is a having the tail, there is a having the notochord. So these merely indicates that origin of chordates they were takes place from the Urochordates. Garstang during 1928 suggests that the chordates evolved from some sessile filter feeding Urochordate. By the larval stages evolved into the adult by neoteny and by losing the sedentary adult stage. Now the cephalochordate origin. Chamberlain during 19th century studied the primitive and advanced character of the cephalochordates and proposed that while the extent of cephalochordates possesses all the chordate characters in typical state, they also show some primitive features of the non-chordates, such as the absence of the heart, head, sense organs, respiratory pigments, filter feeding mode of food capture, and the excretion by solenocytes, which is occurred in case of the cephalochordates. Then fossil records of 60 specimens from mid-Cambrian of the earliest chordate Picai gracilans have been discovered from Burgess Shale in British Columbia, Canada. The Amphioxus like fossils shows streamlined ribbon shape 5 cm long body having notochord in the posterior 2/3 of body and myomeres. It has a small head with 2 tentacles and gill slits in the neck region. Other chordate like the fossils are Catharimimerus from early Cambrian sediments in China and Paleobranchiostomata from early Permian from South Africa that appears to be more similar to Amphioxus. Now the combined theory E.J. W. Barrington 1965 combined all the above theories and proposed that common ancestor of echinoderms and chordates was a sessile ciliary arm feeder that lived in the plankton rich environment of the Cambrians. So earlier four theories, that is the echinodermata theory, hemichordata theory, urochordata theory, cephalochordata theory, they were not give the concrete proof that from such and such group of the animal there is a origin of the chordates where takes place. Now here in this case combined theory were proposed by the Barrington during 1965, combine all the above theories and propose that the common ancestor of echinoderms and chordate was sessile ciliary arm feeder that live in the plankton rich environment of the Cambrians. So here in this case this theory reveals us that both, that is the echinodermata and chordata, having the common ancestors. Modern crinoids, that is the echinodermata, pognophora and ptero branch of hemichordates evolved from a similar ancestor by retaining the original mode of feeding, perhaps because they continue to inhabit the same environment as occurred in the ancestral days. However, pharyngotremy, perforation of pharynx with the gill slits, must have evolved in a large number of groups at that time, which must have been much more superior method of food gathering by filtering water through the pharynxes compared to the ciliated arm feedings. Hence, the sedentary proto-ascidians of that time lost ciliated arm feeding and adopted pharyngeal filter feeding as the only method of food gathering. Sometimes later, when the plankton's population in water declined, free swimming tail larvae of these urochordate did not metamorphose and become a neotenic adult, since free swimming mode was superior in food searching at time of food scarcity. Cephalochordates, like the ancestor, evolved by the perfection and expansion of the chordates characters that were already present in the ascidian tadpole larva. We already have fossil of such primitive chordates, example Picaia gracilians from the mid-Cambrians. So the combined theory reveals us that both echinodermata and chordata, they are having the common ancestor on the basis of the certain anatomical features of their larval forms. So these group of the animals, they are having the common ancestor. So these are all about the origin of chordates. So thank you so much. Please listen carefully, then make your feedback regarding these e-content, then subscribe my YouTube channels. Thank you so much. Thank you one and all.